Dutch van der Linde begins Red Dead Redemption 2 as a man who genuinely believes in something bigger than himself. He's charismatic, eloquent, and magnetic, the kind of leader people want to follow. His dream, at least at the outset, seems almost noble: to live free outside the reach of a society that's tightening its grip on the frontier. Dutch preaches freedom, justice, and resistance against oppression, portraying his life of crime as a necessary pushback against corporations, lawmen, and the forces of modernization that he believes are destroying the old way of life. This idea attracts a motley crew of outcasts, orphans, and dreamers who come to see him as a father figure and protector. For a time, Dutch's leadership works. The van der Linde gang survives, they pull off daring heists, and they share moments of genuine camaraderie. But even before the events of the game fully unfold, there are early signs that Dutch's utopia is more rhetoric than reality. His tendency to dominate conversations, his intolerance of dissent, and how he frames any question about his decisions as betrayal hint at a darker core beneath the idealism. In practice, his philosophy often serves as an excuse for violence and criminality rather than a true moral compass. As RDR2 progresses, the pressures of constant pursuit by law enforcement, the disastrous Blackwater robbery, and repeated setbacks strain Dutch's psyche. External stressors aren't the only force at work, though. Internal influences matter too. Micah Bell, a new member of the gang with a ruthless and self-serving personality, begins to worm his way into Dutch's confidence, feeding his paranoia and encouraging more extreme behavior. Dutch's reliance on Micah marks a turning point, where once he listened to trusted advisors like Hosea Matthews and Arthur Morgan, now he surrounds himself with those who reaffirm his ego rather than challenge it. Where Dutch once professed to act for the good of his gang and for freedom itself, he gradually shifts towards self-preservation and ego-driven decisions. Missions that should have been tactical retreats or cautious maneuvers turn into acts of vengeance or grandstanding. His speeches, while still eloquent, become increasingly disconnected from reality. What's most tragic is that Dutch still believes he's right, even when his choices put his people who trust him utterly in danger. This unraveling doesn't just affect Dutch, it affects everyone around him. Arthur Morgan, who has spent his whole life devoted to Dutch and the gang, begins to see the cracks in Dutch's philosophy clearly. Arthur's loyalty is challenged not only by the gang's external enemies, but by Dutch's growing instability. Arthur starts to prioritize the safety and future of individuals like John Marston's family over blind loyalty to Dutch's deteriorating vision, a shift that highlights Dutch's decline not just as a leader, but as a moral center. By the later chapters, Dutch's decisions become erratic and increasingly harmful. He abandons plans that would have ensured the gang's escape, and instead chases schemes that serve his ego more than the group's well-being. He even leaves loyal members, like John and Abigail Marston, in dire straits to pursue his own revenge or out of sheer distrust, marking the final stage of his downfall. A leader who no longer leads but fractures. In the concluding moments of RDR2 and continuing into the original Red Dead Redemption, Dutch has transformed almost beyond recognition. Where he was once a visionary, however flawed, he becomes a shadow of himself.